What is today? What day is today? December 6th.
Yeah.
Today's the 6th. James, a lot has happened since the last time we actually hosted a podcast, our weekly podcast. Welcome back, everybody. We are back live on December 6th, 2021. I guess we become a spokesperson for Snapple today. So we're going to be promoting Snapple today. And big news, we are ranked, what number were we?
31.
31 in India.
Yes.
When it comes to nonprofit
Podcast.
So we're moving up in the world.
Yes.
But there's a lot has happened since the last time we were actually here in this table. But let's just we're going to breeze through some of this today over the next 20 minutes. We have an event going on today. We're about to leave for right now. In fact, we're leaving here at 2 o'clock and we're heading down to downtown somewhere.
Grand Park area.
To meet with people who are here from Germany who are dealing with some of the same issues in America. So that's pretty cool. You guys hyped about that for the day?
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I tell you, it'd just be nice to see what it is exactly that they're dealing with. Because we only look at everything from one point of view when it comes to the things that take place in our country. And to actually know that other countries are dealing with these same type of issues is actually going to be good for us to see and hear, especially, with the issues that we deal with here at Black Push, but also just nationwide, the stuff that we deal with, and to find out that other countries are having the same issues. So I am looking forward to that.
Sean, you know a little German?
I actually had a German grandma. My grandfather married a German woman that he met in Germany, and I have German, family.
So you're excited to go?
I'm not exactly excited, but I feel like it's always good to meet new people, see their experience, see how they're like in America, and learn about what they're dealing with.
Yeah, and I think that part of the thing that was interesting to me is that we had a meeting with them probably about 2 weeks ago, and I made a statement, and I've been talking about this for a while, that was very ignorant. I was like, over here we deal with blah, 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 blah. And the guy at the end of me speaking, he was like, well, Mr. Smith, let me correct you on one thing. We're dealing with some of the same things in Germany. So I think it's important, like James mentioned, to understand that we're not the only ones going through some of the things we're going through.
Right.
But it's going to be fun. So we're leaving there, and then on Wednesday, we turn around on Wednesday, we have a webinar that we're hosting that deals with suspensions and expulsions of African-American students at a high rate throughout the state of Georgia. So that's going to be really cool, too. And we end our week with our last event of the year. December 11th, we'll host our final One Accord Conference, where we have great speakers like Dr. Jamal Bryant, we have Reverend Timothy McDonald, we have Reverend Shannon Jones, and we have a few other guests that are pending that we're hoping to get some results back from today. But so we have a busy week ahead of us. But a lot has happened since we last been on. So I think the last time we had the conversation, the three of us at the table, we was talking about Ahmaud Arbery and what would happen if his murderers did not get convicted. But we don't have to have that conversation anymore because, as we know, all of them got convictions up to some point that can lead up to life in prison. So how are you guys feeling post-conviction?
I mean, honestly, I felt like it was going to come down that way because of what we just saw with the Rittenhouse case, not to, put them together. But I just feel like it was so much evidence that after that verdict, the way that went, and then this one being so close, if it wasn't a guilty verdict, I think it would just been kind of mayhem in the streets. So I think that it was wise for them to do justice and give guilty verdicts.
I would agree with you on that also, but I'd add that we saw, I mean, for all intended purposes, we saw justice being administered through the judge. You had two different types of judges in these cases, and the one for Stefan
Cal Rittenhouse.
I mean, no, not Rittenhouse. The one judge for Rittenhouse was decisively, he seemed really quite biased. Okay, I'm not saying he was. He just seemed that way based on the way he spoke. However, with the Ahmaud Arbery case, you see just the polar opposite, where the judge, anything that the defense attorney was trying to present to get a mistrial, to get, anything to get his his clients off. The judge was
Not
going for it. And let's just stick with the facts and just run the case like that. And you saw him not going for the tactics or falling for the tactics that the defense attorney was using. And that gave me a sense of hope in that they would actually get a conviction based on what I was seeing, based on the case and the evidence before them. But also you had a judge that was fair and impartial. And I think that's what we are all looking for when we say justice. And, when people say, well, the wheels of justice, that justice works.
Right.
The system works. Well, in that instance, yes, it works when applied properly and without bias.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wasn't surprised the verdict that came down. I was not surprised how quick the verdict came down. I think that after they went to deliberation, there was a point where they came back in, they asked to see like a little bit more evidence, and we had got a hint that they had moved past the point of whether or not it was proper cause for a citizen's arrest. They had moved past that point, and after that, I think it was like the next day, the same day they came down with a conviction. And I thought that the conviction was fair. I even thought that the guy who recorded it should not have been convicted of every charge, right? His situation was different. But he should have gotten convicted of charges he got, and he still faces life in prison. So, I mean, I thought for just justice, it was a good example of what true justice should look like. And I have to give a shout out here to Cobb County DA's office, because they the one handled the case, and they did a great job of handling the case. Kudos to them. So, I mean, but at the same time, my argument would be to every DA's office, as well as Cobb County DA's office, like, let's not let this be fair justice because of the fact that this is a national case. Like, let's make this something that's within our system all across. Whether it's Cobb County, whether it's Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, Fulton County, whether it's in Florida, right? We just got to make sure justice is equal all the way across the board. So, I mean, I'm happy that it happened the way it did. I'm happy with the results we got. Now we'll see how they get sentenced ultimately. And I don't think they've been sentenced yet, right? I think you brought up the fact that, I can look it up while we're sitting here, but I don't think they have been sentenced yet.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were. I know before we were.
Yeah, if anything, I kind of expect them to get the book thrown out at them to a certain degree. Again, you mentioned the gentleman who recorded. Will he get the same type of sentence? I don't think so. I kind of expect him to get a lesser sentence, but at the end of the day, he didn't try to prevent it either. And I think that's what got him kind of caught up on things, which got him hung up, I suppose, if I could put it that way. But at the end of the day, justice was served, and that's what, at the end of the day, that's what we all want, is that justice being served fairly across the board. And we saw that for sure.
And but the one thing too, I was just looking at too, that these men also been looked at in federal court as well, for hate crime charges. So I mean, it's still way more to go. And I was trying to look at if they had a date set yet. I can't find one, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that once it does happen, we'll see.
So here's the question now. We always look at the sentencing part of, the trials, the murder trials, and so on and so forth. But just like, is there any grounds for the Arbery family to sue these gentlemen in lieu of, say, civil court?
Absolutely. So that's the next part of it.
That's going to be next, right?
Yeah, that will be next. They're going to probably sue the men.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to also sue the previous DA of that county for not taking out charges to begin with. So that's the next phase of it. And I'm pretty sure that knowing the attorneys they have, it's in the process. It's the next phase.
And so what are your thoughts on the former DA? down in that area.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about, I think we hit on earlier about justice being fair. He needs to be, he doesn't need to be resume office. I don't know if he's been put out or not.
I thought it was a female.
No, so Joyette Holmes, I think, is a female. He or she. I don't remember that part.
I thought it was a female DA who, and in fact, one of the gentlemen actually worked as an investigator for the DA's office at some point, which is why it kind of got swept under the rug, if you will, until the video surfaced.
Right.
If it hadn't been for the video, these gentlemen would have got away scot-free.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of times when you don't have this video evidence, it's harder to
Convict or bring it to trial, maybe.
to get the justice that you deserve.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like,
It was a female, Jackie Johnson. Her name was Jackie Johnson.
you know,
So she will get sued.
yeah, it's a shame that we have to sit here and celebrate these victories when it should just be, this is the way justice looks.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of times if you look on the other side of the spectrum, it's just things work the way they should.
Yes.
You know, and we shouldn't have to, you know, wave a flag or get 500 people to go to a courtroom just to get what everybody saw on camera. The results should be the same way if anybody was, you know, anybody was seen in the street getting shot by 3 people and we got it on camera. Like, what is really the deliberation? You know?
So, I mean, we've also had, so Ahmaud Arbery, we know that case has happened. Also, recently over the past weekend, has anybody caught with the news about Chris Cuomo? Kept up with that?
Yep. He got terminated from
Or
CNN.
Chris Cuomo got terminated from CNN over the weekend.
And Andrew's little brother?
His little brother. Andrew Cuomo's little brother.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. So my question is to you guys, or you didn't know he got terminated.
I didn't know.
To you, James, then maybe, should he have gotten terminated?
Based on my understanding as to why they let him go, it violated his contract as far as conduct and his behavior. I think that's harassment charges is what it was, if I'm not mistaken. And those are the kind of things that when you're looking at the Me Too movement right now today, I think it's fair. And he could still be brought up on charges
My thing
as
is,
well.
I am extra cautious, and when we talk about the Me Too movement of being fair to Me Too, right? I am completely fair to it. I believe if a person does something to somebody like that, they need to be held accountable. But I do believe that just like anything, it can get bigger than what it was meant to be, right?
Right.
So now it's like every little thing is Me Too. And no knock, but we have people who are out here using it when Me Too doesn't really justify what really happened.
Right.
And I just think that, I don't know, I do agree that Chris Cuomo should have gotten terminated, because from what I understand, based upon what I've read, is that he lied to his job, right? And I think he lied about the extent to what he was trying to help his brother cover some of this stuff up. And I think that from what I've read, and if that's the case, yeah, you should be terminated for that. I mean, but at the same time, his brother still has an innocent until guilty cause out there, because he hasn't been. I think he was charged with something which is like a misdemeanor, but they keep pushing it back, and even a lot of people, like the police department, I think took it out, but the DA's office up there wasn't even aware that there was a misdemeanor being pressed against Andrew Cuomo, and they're not even ready for it, and they're upset because they're like, we don't have a defense for this, right?
Right.
So people are innocent until proven guilty, and I think that we have to metaphorically wait until people go through the process before we just assume guilt on anybody, I think.
Right.
I think.
Well, I get that, but I don't know if that's going to be, if that is in Mr. Chris Cuomo's.
Oh no, I get
case.
No. His case is different, right?
Yeah.
He lied. He lied. He was trying to. I mean, even I think after his brother stepped down, Chris Cuomo never brought it up on his news channel, right? I mean, that's your job as a reporter, whether or not you like the news or not. It's your job to report the news, and it was news, right?
Right.
I don't believe that was fair, but at the same time, I don't know, man. I mean, whatever.
Well, man must be held accountable for his actions. and the words that come out of his mouth.
I agree.
So he's got to deal with it.
Poor Andrew. No, I'm playing. It was a joke. Oh my God, and we're live, so we can't even edit that out. That was really just a joke. What were you about to say, Sean?
No, I just was saying, like with social media, a lot of times I feel like if the story gets served down and it's chopped up, a lot of times, and I'm not saying this one because I didn't see it, but it's almost like a riot.
Yeah.
And it's just moving down the line, and you don't even know what happened. Now you just like get them, and it's
because media moves so quick.
fast. Yeah.
But speaking of, because we got like 5 minutes, right?
Oh, okay.
What were you about to say? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, as the news was coming out yesterday morning, I was actually watching CNN, and there was a gentleman he was like, I literally just got these notes right before I came on air, and he read down the list of all the infractions that took place that got him fired as it was coming down. So these are kind of things that, again, it moves so quickly that if you didn't actually watch CNN, you got it reading the article that came out this morning.
Yeah, right. So, but speaking about social media, I think I would be remiss if I don't talk about social media for a second. So, everybody in the room is going to find it funny because they know, but November 8th, I remember the date like it was yesterday. As you guys know, I think I just got back from D.C. and I was extremely sick and I was on like NyQuil, everything. I got an email like saying that my account had been hacked and it was getting ready to come down if I didn't verify it. Clicked on the link, verified, it looked like a real Facebook link. The next morning I woke up, which was November 9th, because I remember because it was my grandmother's birthday, and I went online to post, and I couldn't get on attached to my Facebook because all these different things that happened to my account, right? Weeks later, I am still fighting with Facebook, and now Instagram, who is Facebook, to get my profiles restored, even after I showed them proof that my account was hacked. Like, can tech companies have gotten so big that they are no longer held accountable to the people in which they serve? You can't get the only reason I got a hold of somebody at Facebook is because I knew somebody who worked for DHS and I knew somebody who worked for the FBI, and they reached out to their connection to Facebook. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even be talking to anybody at Facebook right now.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like it's like they have a monopoly over your like digital or virtual identity.
Oh wait, we're airing this on Facebook, right? So if our page gets brought down, you guys know why. But seriously, like
because I mean, so it's a shame that like a totally innocent person once again can be pushed into the corner, and it's like now you're basically in a position where there's nothing you can do. You're like, well, what am I supposed to do? You try to post your complaints and show proof.
And you guys have helped me. You, Ali, you guys know we've posted and emailed everybody.
Yeah.
I've sent emails out. I've even wrote Mark Zuckerberg, right, and every executive there,
right.
And still no response. And it's like, but at the same time, like, I'm doing marketing through Facebook as a business.
Yeah.
I'm spending probably thousands of dollars a month. You know what I'm saying, like as a customer. But the only way I can really talk to somebody live is if I buy like this little 3D Oculus.
Yeah.
But if you don't have an Oculus or a serial number, like there's no way to really get a hold of anybody live.
Wow.
So I mean, but as a consumer, it's like I get it. I get that tech companies have a lot going on, but you should be able to have some. I don't care if I got to wait on hold for 4 hours.
Yeah.
At least let me talk to somebody versus having to send out an email. And then you send me an email back saying because of COVID we cut back on our numbers. We may not even respond. Really? when you got over, I mean, I've been on Facebook since I was probably like 16. So you got like 17 years worth of photos and memories on that's locked up that I have no access to, all because of something that was a mistake, or not even a mistake on my behalf. It wasn't even my fault.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. Facebook do better. Which camera am I looking at? This one? Facebook, do better. I want my stuff back, okay? But, I mean, we just got to remember that there's so much going on. I know you have another topic, but we are at 2 o'clock. Literally at 2 o'clock. So we'll be back, but we'll be back tomorrow. That's the good thing about this.
All right, cool.
And this, I mean, you only got...
This really has to come out because we're talking about another school shooting.
Yeah.
And...
but we will come back to that tomorrow because there's more to that. I just read an article today about the Detroit Lions or something like that won their first game, and they accredited it to this shooting.
Wow.
Like that, the guys were passionate about this shooting, as well as their college team in Michigan just won, and they really were kind of going about this shooting. So I mean, anytime anybody is shot to senseless death, senseless death is really hard, but extremely hard when it's people who haven't really even got a chance to start their life.
It's crazy.
Right, because we're talking to teenage kids, man, who are all involved. And then, we'll
get to it tomorrow.
We'll do
and we
tomorrow.
can't get policy passed.
I'm sorry?
And we can't get a policy passed to kind of limit some of this
Right. And
So-
we're talking handguns here, and, you know, again, gun control.
But do you have a handgun? No, I'm just
Am I
just-
advocate
just-
for gun ownership? Yes, I support the
Do
second.
you have a handgun? I'll leave it looking. Oh no, Ali safe. Keep me out of this.
All right.
No, but we'll come back tomorrow and talk about it. And then I know tomorrow, you know, it's gonna be. We got a busy week, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's go enjoy the rest of this evening, and let's head downtown. But thank you guys for tuning in today. Check us out if you have if you're interested in being invited to the suspension webinar. We still have spots available. You can reach out to us by going to our website www.blackpush.org. And remember, we'll be at First Iconium Baptist Church on December 11th at 4 p.m. Please come out and support. Well, like I said, we'll have the Dr. Jamal Bryant, Reverend Shannon Jones, Reverend Timothy McDonald, and more guests who will be speaking at that event. So come on out and just be blessed as we call closure together to remind them that we have an obligation to take care of the people in which God has trusted us to serve. So until next time, you guys have a blessed day, and we'll see you tomorrow.